In June of 1991, a small Japanese company from Hiroshima showed up at Le Mans with a race car powered by an engine that every expert said was too thirsty, too fragile, and too outdated to compete. The favourites that year were Mercedes, Jaguar, and Peugeot, cars backed by billions. Nobody gave Mazda a chance. 24 hours later, the Mazda 787B crossed the finish line first, and then the rules were changed to make sure it could never happen again. These are 10 crazy facts about the Mazda 787B that even the most loyal fans have never heard. Number 10. The 787B is still the only car in Le Mans history to win with anything other than a piston engine. Every car that has ever won the 24 Hours of Le Mans used a traditional piston engine. Every single one except the Mazda 787B. The heart of the car was the R26B, a 2.6-litre, 4-rotor Wankel engine that spins triangular rotors inside oval housings instead of pumping pistons up and down. Mazda had been the only automaker on the planet willing to put serious money behind the rotary engine for decades, and the 787B was the ultimate expression of that commitment. It was also the first time any Japanese manufacturer had won Le Mans outright. That record stood for 27 years, until Toyota finally won in 2018. Number 9. The R26B engine used 3 spark plugs per rotor, giving it 12 spark plugs total. Most rotary engines use 2 spark plugs per rotor. Mazda engineers added a 3rd plug on the trailing side of each combustion chamber to ignite fuel that would normally go unburned. That single change improved fuel economy by 3% without sacrificing power. In a 24-hour race where fuel strategy decides everything, 3% is enormous. The engine was reportedly capable of as much as 900 horsepower when fully uncorked, but Mazda deliberately limited output to around 700 horsepower at 9,000 RPM to prioritize durability. They also fitted continuously variable intake runners that adjusted length in real time based on engine speed, which was cutting-edge technology for 1991. Number 8. Mazda hired 6-time Le Mans winner Jackie Ickx as a team consultant, and his strategy was simple. Do not try to be the fastest car on track. Ickx knew the Mazda could not outrun the Mercedes Sauber C11s in a straight fight, so he coached the 3 drivers, Johnny Herbert, Volker Weidler, and Bertrand Gachot, to focus entirely on fuel economy and consistency. During practice, the drivers competed against each other to see who could hit the fastest lap time while still meeting the prescribed fuel economy figures. The target was 4.4 miles per gallon. Every lap, every stint, every driver change was calculated around making the fuel last as long as possible. Number 7. The 787B exploited a weight loophole that let it run 170 kilograms lighter than the competition. The 1991 season introduced new rules requiring cars to weigh a minimum of 1,000 kilograms. There was, however, an exemption for naturally aspirated, rotary-powered groups cars. Mazda's team boss Takayoshi Ohashi petitioned the governing body for the exemption, and he got it. Nobody expected the Mazda to be a serious threat, so nobody objected. The 787B raced at just 830 kilograms. That advantage translated directly into less tire wear, lower fuel consumption, and better braking. It was the kind of edge that does not show up in qualifying, but wins races over 24 hours. Number 6. The car qualified 12th fastest, but was forced to start from 19th on the grid. The FIA had decided that the first 10 grid positions were reserved for cars running the new 3.5-litre naturally aspirated formula that it was trying to promote. Older Group C cars, no matter how fast, started behind them. The 787B was technically classified as an older car, despite being brand new for 1991, so Mazda started nearly at the back of the field. It did not matter. Le Mans is not won on the first lap. Number 5. Every single Mercedes retired from the race. including Michael Schumacher's car. The three Sauber Mercedes C11s were the overwhelming favourites. One of them had a young Michael Schumacher behind the wheel, and he was setting blistering lap times before his car's gearbox failed. The second Mercedes hit debris on track, which damaged the crankshaft damper and an engine mounting and killed the engine before dawn. The third and final Mercedes, which had led from just 6 hours in, suffered a broken alternator bracket that snapped the water pump drive belt and overheated the engine beyond repair. One by one, the favourites fell, and the orange and green Mazda just kept going. Quick thing before we get to the top 4 on this list. The data on this channel shows that over 80% of you watching right now are not subscribed. That means you are showing up for the content, but the algorithm has no reason to show you the next video. If you have made it this far, you clearly care about the stories behind the greatest cars ever built. Hit subscribe so you do not miss the next one. Number 4. Johnny Herbert drove the final stint despite being in serious physical pain from old injuries. Herbert had suffered devastating leg injuries in a 1988 Formula 3000 crash at Brands Hatch that nearly ended his career. His legs never fully recovered. By the final hours of Le Mans, after driving through the night and into Sunday afternoon, Herbert could barely walk when he climbed out of the cockpit. After crossing the finish line to win the race, he had to be physically helped onto the podium because his legs could not support his weight. He later described the R26B engine as silky smooth and the gearbox as the slowest in the world. But he said the car was so reliable and comfortable that it carried him through. Number 3. After the race, Mazda engineers inspected the R26B and said it was in good enough condition to race another 24 hours with nothing more than an oil change. The engine that every expert had dismissed as fragile and unreliable had just survived the most brutal endurance race on the planet and come out the other side barely worn. That single fact silenced decades of criticism aimed at the Wankel rotary engine. The 787B completed 362 laps, covering nearly 5,000 kilometers at an average speed of just over 205 kilometers per hour. And it did it with nothing more than routine pit stops for fuel, tires, and brake pads. Number 2. 2 months after winning Le Mans, one of the 3 winning drivers was sitting in a British prison. Bertrand Gachot was riding high after the victory. He was also racing in Formula 1 for the Jordan team and having a strong season. But in August of 1991, he was sentenced to 18 months in prison for spraying a London taxi driver with CS gas during a road rage incident the previous December. Gachot expected a fine. He got jail time. His empty seat at Jordan needed to be filled immediately for the Belgian Grand Prix. Team boss Eddie Jordan gave the drive to a young German nobody had heard of. His name was Michael Schumacher. Schumacher qualified 7th on his debut at Spa, and within a week was signed by Benetton. He would go on to win 7 Formula 1 World Championships. One Le Mans winner went to prison and accidentally created the greatest Formula 1 driver of his generation. Number 1. Rotary engines were effectively banned from Le Mans the very next season. Before the 1991 race even started, the FIA had already decided that the 1992 season would switch entirely to 3.5-litre naturally aspirated piston engines, the same formula used in Formula 1. Wankel rotary engines would no longer be eligible to compete for the overall win. The 707B was Mazda's last chance, and they knew it going in. After the victory, the winning car 002 was immediately retired from competition and sent to the Mazda Museum in Hiroshima, where it remains today in full working order. Mazda still brings it out for demonstration laps at Le Mans. Every time it fires up, the sound of that 4-rotor engine echoing through the grandstands reminds everyone what happened on that June weekend in 1991. The Mazda 787B was slower than the Mercedes and lighter than the rules intended. It started from 19th on the grid, and it won anyway. No rotary engine has won Le Mans since. No rotary engine has even been allowed to try. If you want to see which other underdog race cars shock the world against impossible odds, subscribe for more. I will see you in the next one.